Bitcoin has another week of ups and downs as ETF outflows set a new record. And yet, ETF adoption is happening faster than any other financial instrument in history. Elon Musk's battle for free speech continues as the United Kingdom may summon him over X operations. And with the US election just a couple months away, predictions are taking place as the direction of Bitcoin based on who wins. The difference between the two candidates is stunning, maybe even flabbergasting. Yes, your flabber will be gasted, and you thought you had to pay a physician a lot of money for that procedure. We'll do it for you for free. That, my friends, is just the tip of the iceberg as we invite you to join us for our Bad News episode number 741 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
Who's bad?
I don't know why that just a Def Leppard photograph. Remember? It's like it's not real counting in any language, but the guy just counted off.
It's kind of, was it not German? I always thought it was German.
No, it's fake. No, that would be ein, zwei, drei, right? If you're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just being silly.
Well, he had something to say.
He did. Did I flabber your gast? Did I give you a flabbergastoctomy?
Well, I was really concerned about that because I don't think it was consensual.
No, and yet that happens sometimes.
And you did say it's just the tip, and I was like, this is really concerning.
Well,
The tip is just the tip of the iceberg, and I was like, wait a second, that sounds a little innuendo. Is keep your flabber away from my gas.
little innuendo, outuendo. Welcome to the Bad Crypto Podcast, the show for the crypto curious and the crypto serious, being the silliest crypto show in all of history. Now, in our 8th year of delivering you the news and interviews. And man, Trev, we have interviewed a lot of people on the show. A lot.
You know, I was thinking about this. If you figure all of the bad cryptos, all of the ICOs, and then those ICOs, there was like 2, 3, 4 interviews per those. And, you know, I think we did what, 60, 70 of those back in the day or something. That's like 200 some odd probably interviews right there, ballpark-ish, maybe 150 interviews. Plus all the other shows, plus the Nifty show, plus the Bad Boys of Tech we did for a while, the AI show. Crazy. Well over 1,000 episodes that we have drilled into people's ears. We have
spoken to each other more than two humans ever should speak to one another.
Right. That's why we only do one show a week now.
That's pretty much it.
If last week we're like, we're not even going to do a show this week.
Well, you know, we were traveling. You were on the other side of the world. I'm on the road, and presently you're back home. I'm in Maine and on my way to New Hampshire, enjoying New England here and visiting friends. But that doesn't mean that we don't have news for you guys. In fact, if we go ahead and take a look at the crypto market cap timestamp right now, this recording is Tuesday, September 10th at 10:20 in the morning, and the crypto market cap 2.08 trillion. Let me go ahead and pull up the screen so those of you who are watching the visual version of this podcast can see what I'm talking about. Bitcoin is 56,677, Ethereum 2,329, BNB 517, Solana 134, XRP 53.5 cents, Dogecoin 10 cents, and Toncoin at $5.30. Tron being super strong still in the number 11 slot at 15 cents, Trav.
Very good. Yeah, it's interesting to watch this. If you're going through and we always go, oh, was anything happened this past week? Well, yeah, there's been a few that's popping off. I mean, there's been, not a bunch, but a few. Phantom's up about 20%, Quant up 19%, Bitcoin SV up 11%, Sui. I always think, when I see that, I always think of Johnny Cash there, 11.5%. Optimism up 11%, Helium up 10%, BitTorrent up 10%. Internet Computer up about 10%. Now, if we're looking at this from over the last 30 days, like there's been some pretty big winners over the last 30 days. Aave up almost 50%. Artificial Super Intelligence Alliance, FET, that was up 45%. Phantom up 40%. So there's some, and then you mentioned Tron. Tron's up about 19% over the last month. So not a big month, because really, if you look over the last 30 days, there's not many tokens that are up over the last 30 days. I don't even know if you can see that on yours because you haven't added there's another column you can add, the 30-day column. But
I
yeah,
did not know that. I will do that also. You've been talking to me about Avalanche, and Avalanche, is the only one here, one of the few that's just got green, green, green all the way across. I guess
yeah.
they've got some cool stuff going on. Hopefully
Yeah,
we
I've
can
been
get
consulting them.
somebody
I've
on.
been consulting them on marketing for development and helping them with their new websites and whatnot. So interesting. Avalanche, I think, is one of those tokens that I think personally, I mean, this is not even financial advice or even any inside knowledge. I just think Avalanche is a better token overall than Solana. The reason that Solana's blown up again is because of all those meme coins and shit coins that get launched on it. And but Avalanche is a more serious project. So keep an eye on Avalanche over the next few months.
So let's look at the index for greed and fear right now. We are at 33 fear. It's up a little bit from last week. And if you look at the charts here overall, again, the high was hit. Let's see, when was this? This was March that we hit 74,000 and not touched that since. We're down quite a bit from there since then, but traditionally on the 4-year cycle, October is known as Uptober. And so perhaps the consolidation is happening, getting ready for some big moves. But who really knows? This is important, Trav. Hash rate is up. This is huge.
Yeah, hash rate. Yeah, this is actually really big news, and because the more people who are mining it, and the more difficulty that happens, and the more that's coming in and using it, then it shows that the price is starting to pop. So, I mean, I think we had the record of that happened on just a couple of days ago on September 8th, and that is the all-time record now. So this is showing exponential growth in computational power for Bitcoin's network. And so Bitcoin really is showcasing itself as the creme de la creme. Ethereum's kind of doing a drop off. And I mean, well, I know BNB's taken off. Was BNB's almost $500? The last I checked, it was. So it's crazy to see how some of these other tokens and, big time growth, about 75% year over year growth with the hash rate. And looks like there's going to be a difficulty adjustment popping off as well. So that it's always weird for the miners when things get like this.
There's a chart that nobody shows and nobody talks about, and perhaps it's an article that needs to be written. We look at prices up and down, we look at hash rate up and down, and you have these pullbacks, and oh no, things are going south, and oh my gosh, things are booming. But the one chart we don't see is the chart of Bitcoin adoption, right? And that is pretty
Right.
much only up. Right, you don't have governments going, okay, we're adopting Bitcoin. Nah, we're not anymore. You don't have institutions saying, all right, we're bringing on Bitcoin. No, we're not. You don't have enterprise saying, all right, we're putting Bitcoin in our portfolio. Nah, we changed our minds. For the most part, Bitcoin is the pullbacks are so insignificant as not to be seen on a chart. It is a curve that goes only up. And to me, that is the one that I'm watching to determine where all of this is heading.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what maybe would be a good one to see is how many wallets have at least a little Bitcoin in it, right? I think you could see the adoption going the other way when you see more wallets with zero,
Mm,
right? And so, because wallets don't disappear once the wallet's created, it's still a wallet, it's on the blockchain. So that
correct.
number would always go up and to the right. However, wallets that have Bitcoin in them is not always necessarily the case. So that would be maybe an interesting one to take a look at.
Hey, do it while I address this. Do a quick search and see if there is a chart on that of wallets holding Bitcoin over time. This is when we look at the ups and downs, this is one of the downs. According to the block, global crypto investment products record largest weekly outflows since March, totaling $726 million. So this is people that are moving out of ETFs. This is what you see when you see fear, right? People take money out of the market, and it's a lot of money, 726 million from BlackRock, Bitwise, Fidelity, Grayscale, and so on. But the counter to that is that the CIO of Bitwise says that their financial advisors, are adopting Bitcoin ETFs faster than any other exchange traded fund in history. And this is really important, like how quickly people are moving into Bitcoin ETFs as a financial instrument.
Right. Yeah. And it says the US is dominating it too. Is it 720 million of the total outflows coming from what? And of that, almost 700 million of that is coming from US Bitcoin ETF. So that is interesting. That's why that's like 1.2 billion in losses. So it's that whole thing. Crypto goes up, crypto goes down, hit crypto. Oh, here it is. It's just crazy to see. That's what kind of bothers me about, companies like BlackRock having 300,000 Bitcoin or whatever they have now, is that when they decide they want to dump it on the market, these big boys are going to be able to dump it on the market and fuck up the price. So everybody's like, yeah, we're getting mass adoption, but I kind of preferred it when it was more indie, right? And when we don't have these big dogs in there being able to manipulate the markets, because that's what they've done in every market they've ever been in. They get to a point and they start manipulating it. That's what happened with gold and silver, right? That's what happened with the stock markets, right? And here we are. They're getting into crypto heavy. And yeah, I don't know. I think Bitcoin at this point should be 70, 80 grand, right? And here we are in the 50s. So is it manipulation happening? I'm not sure.
Were you able to find any chartology on?
No, I was looking on Glassnode. I don't have the paid membership for Glassnode right now.
So I don't
So I
know if
don't
this
see it.
is.
I don't have enough time to find that. I need to find it, but I
I'm
can
not
see
sure
it.
if this is relevant or not. This is Bitcoin active addresses historical chart, number of unique from or to addresses per day, and we're actually down right now in terms of how many people
Yeah.
are transacting with Bitcoin. I don't think that's unusual during a bear, but it is. When you look at historically here, the bear has been happening for a while, and Bitcoin addresses have been more active. So does that mean that more people are hodling now, that they're not touching, they're
Yeah,
not
my
moving their
Bitcoin's
Bitcoin?
sitting. I'm not touching it right now. So, but look at that, going all the way back to 2021. That's a very low number of accounts that are actually active doing stuff. So maybe they're just hodling. Hard to
It's,
say. It looks like less usage.
I'll tell you, it means that most of the world is still sleeping on Bitcoin, and I think it's going to be really exciting. That's
I
all I
was
can say about
sleeping
that.
and then I woke up.
You are.
Mhm.
So, this is not as many people care about Ethereum ETFs. And Van Eck, and they're stopping offering their Ethereum futures ETF product.
Yeah. So they discovered there's not as much investor interest in Ethereum right now. I think that a lot of the normies don't understand some of these other ones yet. So they went and dropped off a brand new Ethereum ETF without even educating the market about what Ethereum is. I've not seen a lot of education around it. So I think that's a little detrimental to the space, because there's a lot of people who are like, I've heard of Bitcoin. What the hell is this? I can't even say it. Ethereum? What is it? You
Yeah,
know?
right.
And so people are like, I don't even know what Ethereum is, and so I'm not going to put any money in it. And so it was showcasing that there was not a lot of activity happening, and as it hasn't taken off like Bitcoin, it's still sitting around. What's at $2,300 now? Earlier in the year, it was over 3,500 or something. And so we've not even seen the all-time high, even anywhere close to the all-time high of Ethereum, which was near 5 grand back in the day.
Yep, that is true. I think that the ETFs were pushed through quickly, and they were hoping things would fly on hype, right? And hype
Yep.
alone doesn't sustain. It
Well, they
could
had a
move
Solana one ready to go too, right? And probably they had Pepe waiting.
Pepe ETF. Okay, so the election coming up. Actually, today is September 10th, and by the time this episode comes out, the debate will have happened, if you can call it a debate. But there are predictions around what happens based on who wins or steals the U.S. election, and there is a brokerage firm, Bernstein's got predictions of Bitcoin. They say if Trump wins, then they can predict the price of Bitcoin will go to 80 to 90,000. If hilarious cackles gets in, then 30 to
Well, everything she
40K.
says is hilarious.
Yeah. So, and right now, Poly Markets which is where people are betting on who's going to win, is showing Trump at like 63% odds to win. But that depends, if they can't get the cat vote from all the cats that the illegal Haitians are eating in Ohio, then that number might go up or down.
Yeah, I saw a funny thing. It was a Garfield post, and I know the guy's name's Jim. Is that the guy who's
Yeah,
the
his
owner?
owner.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I guess because it's Jim Davis, the guy who wrote it, and he was like, "Hey, so it's so nice being here in Ohio, isn't it, Garfield? Garfield?" He's like, "Oh man, we got to get Trump back in here."
And
I
you
don't know
got
if
you
that's an
got
official one or not, but it made me laugh.
he should have made Odie a Haitian, and he's over there with a toothpick, picking on his
Well,
teeth.
no, Odie would have been eaten too.
Oh,
They
that's
should have
right.
just showed the bones. Like, hey, Odie, Garfield, what you got? Oh, what? We're back. Oh man, we shouldn't have moved to Ohio.
I mean,
Yeah,
this doesn't surprise me because Trump has come out pro crypto, saying some things that are
yeah.
very favorable towards Bitcoin, and Harris's policies. They just released the policies. They basically said, okay, here's what your policies are going to be. Now go out there as we stick our hand up your butt and be a good puppet and tell us your policies, which is exactly what
Well,
she
it's like
really said.
I can't hate on Harris so much. She's just she's just the latest puppet in a long string of puppets who they give somebody enough power and control, and they feel important. And what are they going to say? No. That's why we got so many people in the media who will just go along because they're giving them $1 million a year salary, and they just go along with what we tell you to say. Okay, and they don't even realize how they play a role. Maybe they do, but a lot of them don't. How they play a role in the overarching sort of corruption of the whole engine. And so this is massive engine. And, Harris is just the latest one to get propped up. Now, most people go, oh, the people who believe that Harris is the real candidate are the ones that are just, they don't really understand how it all goes. And I've been commenting and stuff and trolling people on Twitter and having fun with it. And then, man, it's just, I can't tell if they're bots or they're just really dumb, but they're very self-righteous in how they believe what they think they believe. And so it's always entertaining to me. I'm like, wow, you are full on all in on this. A lot of those people who believe that, Harris is the actual candidate, even though she's just a puppet front, right? But they also believe all of these things that Trump said that made him such a horrible person, Joel. Like, oh my God, he said they're animals. He said they're very fine people. Oh my God. But the media does this thing where they just kind of snip and clip, just like they did the other day with MSNBC with Joe Rogan. They clipped out Joe Rogan, made it sound like Joe was promoting Harris, right? So take a listen to this right here.
All right, this is 4 minutes and 17 seconds of the media versus reality, and this is going to be a wake-up call for some people out there that their cognitive dissonance is just on, red alert. And we're going to play about a minute of it, and then the rest of it you're going to find in the show notes at badco.in/741. Here we go.
Media has widely and repeatedly reported Trump's words out of context in ways that disfigure what he actually said. Now, it's difficult to tell whether these are honest mistakes or deliberate lies, but they did this by cutting out words that he said in close proximity to one another, sometimes within seconds. Here's 9 prime examples. 1. The media widely reported that Trump called immigrants animals. In reality, Trump used the word animals to describe murderous illegal aliens like MS-13 gang members, not immigrants in general. 2. The media widely reported that Trump threatened a bloodbath if he loses the election. In reality, Trump used the term bloodbath to describe what 4 more years of Biden's policies would do to the United States, particularly to the auto industry. 3. The media widely reported that Trump praised white supremacists as very fine people. In reality, Trump called them very bad people, stated that he condemned them, and said that the very fine people were those who showed up to innocently protest. 4.
So I had somebody just a few days ago, an older generation, repeat the Charlottesville lie and say, yeah, he's he's a white supremacist. He said he called the Klan very fine people, and that's been debunked by Snopes, which is a left-leaning publication. It only took them 7 years to get there, but they got there. And people.
A lot of times they'll very loudly say, "Oh my God, Trump said this. Oh, this is the worst thing ever." And then, like a few days later, they go, "Oh yeah, we corrected that. He didn't actually say."
Yeah, it's on the 10th page, on the back
it's like,
page,
by
in
the
a
way,
little corner. There's no headline to do it. By the way, Trav,
Joe, I want to share this though, real quick.
Yeah.
This kind of ties into that. Is that I think where we went wrong. A lot of people praise Reagan, think Reagan was great, and I think Reagan did a lot of great things. I think Reagan was also sort of under the gun, literally. Because he was in there 1 month in and they shot at him, right? And they tried to kill him because Bush was the vice president. And Bush, I think, is one of the worst humans possible once you dive in and understand him. But one of the things that they did was he removed the fairness doctrine. And the fairness doctrine had been there since the 40s, since after World War II, to present both sides of issues fairly. And so then the fairness doctrine was removed. And then, well, I think also it didn't apply to cable news at the time. And so CNN was kind of doing their own thing. But I do think that, there should have always been this sort of element of fairness. But here we are having conversations like, I don't like this group. I don't like that. I don't blah, blah, blah. Like maybe we're not completely fair. And so it wouldn't apply to podcasts. But if you're on mainstream media news and you're on NPR, government sanctioned news, you should present both sides of the issues. You shouldn't be biased.
Of course. Well, we're not journalists. We're commentators. We
Right.
tell people what we think. So we're not trying to hide what we believe. The media hides what they actually believe. And if you look at that, so there's an organization that covers and tracks the amount of positive and negative coverage they give to each candidate. And the mainstream media, which is ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, NPR, give Harris something like 95% positive coverage. The stories spin positive, and it's the same amount negative for Trump. So that tells you all you need to know. You're being lied to. In fact, Trav, I'm going to pimp this for a moment.
It's very minimal.
Eric Swider is a friend of mine in Palmas del Mar in Puerto Rico, and he and I have started a show. Eric was the CEO of Digital World Acquisition Company, which is the company he brought public that now owns Truth Social, that merged with Truth Social. And he's he knows Trump. He knows a lot of people on the team. Like, he tells me that, dude, he's nothing like they're painting him. He's incredibly generous. He's kind. He's funny. He shares, songs with people, just because he loves music, and his family's great. Anyway, he and I started a show, and it's a moderately interesting show at best. In fact, that's the name of it, Moderately Interesting. And if you go to moderatlyyinterestingpod.com, you can listen to us banter about these things that Travis and I talk a little bit about, but we also, we want to talk about crypto here. And there's some people that get all, ticked off because how dare we share our opinions and our, quote, conspiracy theories, even though
most of those people don't listen anymore to our show. I think, matter of fact, we got a crazy review not long ago about somebody who was unhinged. I think that was the very last leftist liberal to listen to our show. So now most of the people who listen are moderate, and that's kind of good. Moderately interesting, because you guys are moderates. Is it because you're moderates and you got pushed right because the left went so far left? Is that
there? Yeah, well, and it's tongue in cheek. You might find what we say moderately interesting. You might not. We enjoy the banter and talking politics and culture and whatnot. I'm a big fan of whatnot. Anytime you can talk about whatnot, I think it's a big win. There should be a
Right.
Whatnot podcast. I mean, there might
There
be.
is a Whatnot app that is social selling that sells sneakers and crypto, not crypto, coins and sports cards. It's really cool. I don't use it that much because, oh my God, I want to buy everything. So I don't turn it on because I don't want to buy nothing.
Okay, so you mentioned that that review, so I'm actually going to pull it up here, and so this is from August. The guy wrote, "It's a 1 star. Used to be good. Ironically, no, we were never good. We've always been bad. Years ago, I would get insight about NFTs, crypto, and blockchain from the show. Now they use their platform for uninformed election denial rants and
Mm,
quasi-libertarian stoner sound bites." To justify
nice.
living in Puerto Rico and not contributing to the USA, letters that they most assuredly chant from their red-hatted offshore numbskulls during televised rallies for their felon king. Although they're not financial advisors, they are not financial advisors with no advice on financials, and as such do not advise financially. Too bad this theme doesn't also run through their political opinions. At least this
Oh my
podcast
God.
finally lives up to its name.
That's
It's
good.
bad. That was Carneal. So I don't have a red hat. That's it.
I like how they're always anonymous about they always like have a weird anonymous name. They talk shit to you, but they won't actually do it with their real name. You could be like, I'll use a big crazy name. But yeah, okay, great. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. And you can't really separate crypto from government because it's the whole reason crypto exists, right? Is to get rid of the paper fiat money system. And we're giving you guys the news, we give you good things, but we never give financial advice. We never have we ever. So
Never have we ever. So, in the crypto market caps, Cardano is like right there at number 12. There's a ton of stories about Cardano, and we've never really followed Cardano. Full disclosure, I believe I own some ADA, and it's one of those coins that's never moved a
like
ton.
Ripple, like XRP just sits there
Yeah,
forever.
it's just
Yeah.
you're poking it with the stick. But we figure we would go ahead and let you know if you want to learn more about Cardano. Apparently, they have hit record trading volume with a new platform,
Mhm.
Sneck.fun. What is this, Trav?
It's sort of like a pump.fun version on Cardano. Pump.fun is on, I believe, Solana.
Solana.
And then
Yeah.
you launch a token, right, really easily. So basically, shit coins are what has led to all this active daily volume. And so that's what we're seeing. They saw over 20,000 new users on its platform in the first 10 seconds of launch, right? So I think there's so many Cardano lovers out there, but even so, like with all this new volume and activity, price remains flat. So it hasn't popped yet. Maybe it will pop. I don't know. But seeing all the all-time trades, there's a chart right there. Yeah, right there. Boom. Since this is launched, we can see a whole lot. I guess that's like 2023. That's not even that's not even a good chart right there. That's a shit chart. That
That
chart
it.
sucks there. He
Wait,
says
is
well done, but it's not even 2000. It's not even 2024.
yeah, that's weird. That
That's
is
a
that
weird
is
chart. And he goes, "Hey, great job." And it's a shitty chart.
that's
Anyway,
fake news. Charles
it's an old one.
Hodgkinson was, yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe now it has, but no, I looked and saw the volume is popping. So yeah, so more it takes a shitcoin service to move Cardano's activity. So I mean, that's why I think that Bitcoin just keeps popping off as being the one, right? Bitcoin's the one, Bitcoin's the one. Oh no, here's these other ones. And what has moved all the other ones? Shit coins and meme coins, culture coins, which are in many cases are valid. There's a lot of opportunities to make cash in that, but however, you know, if you get on pump.fun, most of those are scams and rugs. Like you
Yeah.
got people are using bots and they're using sort of sniping tools to get in there to grab the tokens and sell them. And it's like it is a jungle.
So you mentioned Ripple, and apparently the co-founder of Ripple and 87 other executives are backing Kamala Harris, which makes absolutely no sense. Why would you, as a corporate leader, back somebody who is anti-capitalist?
Well, it says
Mark
Chris
Cuban.
Larson, not Brad Garlinghouse. It says so. There's just a few of them that are doing it. Yeah, Mark Cuban, he is
Cuban has got TDS extreme. I am more convinced than ever that that guy got super lucky when he turned AudioNet into broadcast.com and somehow sold it for 7 billion to Yahoo.
yeah,
Like that was, I think, amongst their biggest regrets because they way overpaid for it. Congratulations to
way
you
overpaid. And then
for
by the
doing
time,
it.
didn't Yahoo end up selling to Verizon for like
I
4 billion?
think, yeah, everything they,
Mm-hmm.
got rid of it. But I mean, I see zero wisdom in this human being. I cannot for the life of me imagine why. You go on Twitter, he put out a poll too to his followers, who are you voting for president? And Trump like got 2/3 of the vote.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
he said, well, this is proof that Twitter is biased or X is biased and that the algorithm is being fudged with. Just
It's all being
yeah.
fudged with. And matter of fact, it says that Harris is using Coinbase Commerce to accept crypto donations. That was during Citi's 2024 Global TMT conference. Harris has not verified that she's using Coinbase at all, but it is interesting. So it's like, Trump will say certain things like, "Hey, no tips on or
No
no taxes
taxes on
on tips,"
tips,
and then all of a sudden that's a policy. And
right?
hey, we're going to do crypto, and now all of a sudden that's a policy. And then Trump says we are going to fire Gary Gensler on day one, and she says if I get hired, get elected, I'm going to have Gary Gensler be the head of the Treasury or something, right? Like, come on,
Yeah.
like what? It's almost like it is truly an election between two polar opposites this time. It's almost like, do we want some freedom or do we want just a complete authoritarian clampdown? And what's so weird is that they act like Trump's the authoritarian clampdown and they spew venom towards him about how he's so authoritarian. And if he gets into office, he's never going to leave. And like we've already had 4 years of
He's
President
already
Trump.
left. He already
He
left.
already left. He didn't go out and kill all the trans people and the gay people and take away all the women's rights. Like it's almost like they didn't see those 4 years happening or they don't know what happened. I don't know. It's baffling to me, brother.
It's mass formation psychosis.
Okay, is this
What
the
it
end of
is.
our politics part
No,
of our show?
nope. Michael Saylor says Republicans have more progressive views on crypto. Democrats drifting to the middle. Saylor, is a modern day prophet, I believe, for the world. And as he talks about cryptocurrency, like he is so bullish.
Wow.
He is over the top, ridiculously bullish, and he might be right about all of it. Now you can start to see, like, let's say the commies take over, right? And the value of the dollar keeps going down. So how does Bitcoin get to $1 million or more? Well, if your dollar is worth less and less, that means that the Bitcoin has to be worth more in order to cover, the costs of mining. There's just
Right.
no other way for it to go. And so, when we look at $1 million Bitcoin, we're like, whoa, $1 million. But if we go the way of Zimbabwe eventually and we're printing $1 trillion bills because inflation is so
Right.
bad, then all of a sudden $1 million Bitcoin ain't so much.
Well, he's even saying on CNBC, DNC, that he said one Bitcoin will be worth over $13 million over the next 2 decades.
Hmm.
And that just goes right into what you just said because the value of the dollar is depleting. And I mean, dude, I just saw yesterday the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys got a 4-year, $240 million contract. The first one to make $60 million a year. Now, is Dak Prescott worth $60 million a year, or is inflation just getting stupid? So that's what's going to happen. We're going to start seeing $100 million. Oh, we're going to see a $200 million a year. Like, I mean, I remember back in the 80s, Joel. I mean, I think it was like maybe late 70s, early 80s.
Say
Like
it like this. I
Reggie
remember.
Reggie Jackson was like the first $1 million player. Like Nolan Ryan got the first $1 million contract. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's making $1 million a year." Dude, Dak Prescott's making $60 million a year. That is because the value of the dollar is less. It's not because they're worth more. It's just crazy though.
Bread and circus, my friend. Bread and
Yeah.
circus. That's what you got. So Elon continues to be, at least he appears to be, a voice on the front of free speech. And of course, we saw what's happened in Brazil. The is he a justice or is he the president there? This crazy looking guy that looks like he's
No,
Voldemort.
he would be like our chief Supreme Justice.
Chief Justice, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like come out and said, "All right, you can't have X here, and you can't do any financial transactions here." In fact, he said, "We're not going to allow Starlink payment processing to go through our system." And Elon said, "That's fine. I'm giving it away for free." The
Right.
satellites in Brazil, you can use Starlink for free. And now the parliament in the United Kingdom says that they might want to summon Elon Musk over his spreading misinformation on X. And of course, he shouldn't go. He should do a GFY to whoever is calling him out about free speech. And if they want to turn it off and say you can't use X in the UK, then that's what VPNs are for. And the protests in the streets of Brazil are huge. In fact, I think the government in Brazil, going back and forth from Brazil to UK, they have put forward documents to impeach this clown over there that's trying to
Yeah.
stifle free speech.
Well, it's interesting. I have a good friend of mine who is an attorney, in Brazil, but is now in London going to school for her master's in international business, and complete liberal. Like, it's just crazy. She was like, "Oh yeah, Elon, he's oh, that's one of those Bolsonaro guys." I'm like, "Wow, you really you first." It's like indoctrination is not just in America; it happens in all these major countries
Mhm.
to have people drink the Kool-Aid. You got to drink the blue Kool-Aid, man.
Do you
Chuck
know,
it down, baby.
when I was in Scotland, I met a gentleman who was from Australia, and we rode a bus together, and he was telling me his wife was afraid to come to America because of what Trump has done to America. She was afraid for her safety, that you couldn't travel safely to the United States.
I would say you can't travel safely to the United States now when you got all these immigrants eating your pets, and
Don't eat my
you're
cat.
taking over your freaking apartment complexes and stuff, dude. So did you hear that in Colorado, two of those Venezuelan gang members of the group that took over those two of them immediately got out of jail immediately.
They
Like,
got to
get me
get
to
a
jail,
jail free card.
sign themselves out. Like, wow. Like, how can you police anything if the worst of the people aren't being policed?
It's to get a jail free card.
It's crazy, man.
Just
They
come
want those
across.
votes so bad.
I feel bad for the people who have come to the country and gotten on the list and done things properly, gone through the right immigration channels, have waited years
Yeah.
to become citizens. I mean, how frustrating must that be to go, we're doing this, we're honest. We're doing this legally. And you're
Right.
telling me people are coming in here and you're going to put them up for housing and you're going to put them up for health care and you're going to
Help
give
them
them
buy a
citizen
home, give them
cards.
25 grand to buy a home, and then get them to so they can dude, I got friends in Philippines who can't even come to America to visit because they're like, "Oh, we don't know how long you will stay." Like, shit, you just let in 20, 30 million people through the south border. Like, really? You're gonna like an honest person can't even come in and be like, "Yo, what up? I want to visit two of my sisters who live in America and I want to stay for a month." I can't do that, really? But people can come in. I was like, she just needs to go through cruise through the border and get yourself your $5,000 debit card and get a free house. Like, what? Shit.
Sounds like a good deal. I mean, certainly you can understand why those people would do that,
Yeah.
right?
Why wouldn't you? That's like there's zero detriment and only incentive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless the coyotes, those people who are trying to bring you across the border and you got to pay them X amount of money, chances of getting put into sex trafficking are much higher as well. It's just weird. Like, I
know.
don't understand.
Well,
It's such a weird world right now.
I'll say this, if we've pissed you off and you're still here, then good on you, because you have strong will and resolve to listen through, and perhaps your mind is being opened. And if not, if reality hitting you in the face is too difficult for you to cope with, then it's time for you to go find a safe space. And apparently this wouldn't be it. This would not be safe for those with incredibly strong cognitive dissonance. We're unsafe.
Hey, I want to say, if you've listened this far, please go leave a review, because we could use a review that isn't a 1-star one, because we at one point we had a 4.9 rating, and now only whiny liberals are coming in and leaving reviews.
No, we just another guy named Mo left a review just this last week or so, say I'm still here, and a lot of you are. I mean, actually, we're still in the top 1% of podcasts that are listened to out there.
All right,
I think most shows they quit very early, and they only have a few dozen or maybe 100 listens, tops. And you guys have been hanging with us now. We're in our 8th year. We're not going away unless the commies take over and they shut us down and throw us in prison for speaking.
And I'm also in the 1%, top 1% of OnlyFans as well. So really excited about that. Thank you, everybody out there checking out my penis. Really appreciate that.
What's your account name? Travis's peen.
Daddy Travis. King Daddy.
Well, we're going to stay true to being the name, our namesake, Bad. We appreciate you guys listening. If you're here with us, go leave us a funny, humorous, interesting, insightful 5-star review on iTunes. Make sure you do follow, subscribe, and share. Tell the world that all is not lost. Be of good cheer, and we will catch you on the next time around. Until then, stay bad.
Who's bad?
The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence and consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.
Oh my God, check out these nuts. 5-star nuts. Oh, that's ridiculous.
Okay, the Bad Crypto Podcast. Woo, yeah, we get it. Hype. Talking Bitcoin with Joel Comm and Travis Wright. Yeah, digital money and blockchain. Keep you informed and entertained. Make you think, make you laugh. But remember, stay bad. The Bad Crypto Podcast. Let's go.